A woman checks her bank account after payday. For a brief moment, everything feels okay. The paycheck arrived, the bills are covered, there's still some money left. But 2 weeks later, the account is almost empty again. And she genuinely doesn't understand where the money went. No luxury shopping sprees, no reckless gambling, no insane financial mistakes. Just normal life. Groceries, rent, gas, subscriptions, insurance, food delivery. A few small purchases here and there. And somehow, saving money still feels impossible. This is becoming one of the most common financial frustrations in modern life. Millions of people are earning decent incomes, working full-time, doing everything they were told to do. Yet they still feel financially stuck every single month. Today, I'm going to explain why saving money feels impossible today. The hidden financial pressures quietly draining modern incomes. The psychological traps making spending feel unavoidable. And why so many people now feel like they're running financially without ever actually getting ahead. Because once you understand how modern life is structured, you start realizing many people are not failing financially because they're irresponsible. They're struggling because the entire cost structure of normal life changed dramatically. Let's begin with the biggest reason of all. The cost of existing has exploded. Not luxury, not extravagance. Basic life itself. Housing, groceries, insurance, healthcare, transportation, utilities, childcare. The foundation of ordinary life became significantly more expensive over the past decade. And for many people, wages never increased enough to compensate fully. This creates a problem most people feel emotionally every month, but struggle to explain clearly. Their paycheck disappears before they ever truly feel ahead. A generation ago, saving money often felt more achievable because basic living costs consumed a smaller percentage of income. Today, many people spend enormous portions of their earnings simply maintaining normal life. And when fixed costs rise high enough, saving starts feeling mathematically difficult instead of psychologically difficult. That distinction matters because many people blame themselves constantly for not saving enough, while ignoring how financially demanding modern life actually became. Consider housing alone. Rent in many cities increased dramatically. Mortgage rates changed. Property taxes increased. Insurance increased. Maintenance costs increased. And because housing is usually the largest monthly expense, even moderate increases completely reshape financial flexibility. Someone paying $1,200 monthly rent may have had room to save comfortably years ago. Someone now paying $2,400 monthly while earning only moderately more income experiences an entirely different financial reality. This creates something psychologically exhausting. Permanent financial tightness. No breathing room. No margin. No feeling of progress. And once margin disappears, stress begins shaping financial behavior itself. That's another hidden reason saving feels impossible today. Modern life is mentally exhausting. People are overwhelmed constantly. Work stress, digital stimulation, bills, schedules, notifications, news, economic anxiety, and exhausted people rarely make perfect financial decisions consistently. This is extremely important to understand. Most spending today is not purely logical. Much of it is emotional convenience spending. Food delivery after stressful workdays. Impulse purchases for dopamine. Subscriptions people barely use. Small rewards to temporarily feel better emotionally. None of these purchases individually seem catastrophic. That's why they're dangerous. The financial damage happens quietly, one small expense at a time, and modern companies are incredibly good at monetizing exhaustion. Almost every industry now sells convenience, instant delivery, one-click purchases, subscription services, buy now, pay later. Everything is designed to reduce friction around spending money. But friction once protected people financially. When purchases required more effort, people naturally spent more intentionally. Now spending often happens automatically. People subscribe automatically, renew automatically, order automatically. And because money disappears digitally instead of physically, many people emotionally disconnect from spending itself. That creates invisible financial leaks everywhere. Another major reason saving feels impossible is lifestyle inflation. This affects almost everyone eventually. When income rises slightly, expenses quietly rise too. A nicer apartment, better restaurants, more subscriptions, more convenient spending, newer technology. And because every upgrade feels small individually, people rarely notice how much their baseline cost of living expanded over time. This is one reason many people earning significantly more money than they did years ago still feel financially stressed constantly. The raises disappeared into upgraded lifestyles almost immediately. That's the hidden trap. Modern culture encourages people to spend raises before they ever build savings with them. And social media made this dramatically worse. People are now exposed to luxury lifestyles constantly. Beautiful apartments, expensive vacations, designer furniture, perfect kitchens, luxury cars. And repeated exposure quietly changes what people consider normal. That process is psychologically powerful. Humans compare automatically. People rarely ask, "Do I actually need this?" Instead, they ask, "Why does everyone else seem to have this already?" Comparison spending quietly destroys savings because the finish line constantly moves. There is always another upgrade, another trend, another expectation. And modern marketing exploits insecurity extremely effectively. Companies no longer simply sell products. They sell identity, confidence, status, belonging, success. People increasingly buy emotional experiences instead of practical value. That becomes financially dangerous long term because emotional spending is difficult to satisfy permanently. Another reason saving feels impossible today is debt normalization. Debt used to feel psychologically serious. Now it feels routine. Car loans, phone financing, furniture payments, credit cards, buy now, pay later services. Monthly payment culture changed how people evaluate purchases entirely. Instead of asking, "Can I truly afford this?" people ask, "Can I afford the monthly payment?" That mindset quietly destroys future savings capacity because every monthly obligation reduces future margin. And eventually, many people realize huge portions of their income are already committed before they even get paid. This creates chronic financial pressure that follows people every month. And stress changes financial behavior psychologically. People become more emotionally reactive, more impulsive, more focused on short-term relief instead of long-term planning. That's why financial stress often creates even more financial stress. There's another important problem few people discuss honestly. Many people no longer believe saving alone will meaningfully change their future. This psychological shift is massive. Housing feels unaffordable. Retirement feels distant. Economic uncertainty feels constant. And when people stop believing long-term sacrifice creates meaningful future security, saving becomes emotionally harder to sustain consistently. Why deny yourself today if the future still feels uncertain anyway? That mindset is increasingly common among younger generations. And honestly, some of those fears are understandable. Modern financial goals became dramatically larger. Retirement requires enormous savings. Homes require massive down payments. Education costs exploded. For many people, the numbers feel psychologically overwhelming. So instead of building long-term systems slowly, people emotionally default towards short-term comfort because the long-term goals feel impossibly far away. This creates another dangerous cycle. Financial hopelessness increases spending. Spending reduces saving. Reduced saving increases future anxiety. Many people unknowingly become trapped in this loop for years. Another hidden reason saving money feels impossible today is subscription living. Modern life became fragmented into recurring payments. Streaming services, cloud storage, apps, delivery memberships, software subscriptions, premium accounts. Individually, they seem small. Collectively, they quietly consume enormous amounts of income annually. And because these charges happen automatically, people stop emotionally noticing them entirely. This creates silent financial erosion. The modern economy increasingly prefers recurring extraction over one-time spending. And many people underestimate how much recurring expenses quietly destroy long-term savings potential. There's also something emotionally exhausting happening culturally. People feel pressure to maintain appearances financially. The vacations, the restaurants, the lifestyle, the social experiences. Even middle-class life increasingly feels performative online. And performance is expensive. People spend money trying to avoid feeling behind. But trying to keep up socially is one of the fastest ways to destroy savings capacity permanently. Because there will always be someone spending more. The comparison never ends. That's why many genuinely wealthy people live far more quietly than social media suggests. They understand something many people realize too late. Wealth is not built through visible consumption. It's built through ownership, investing, and controlled spending over long periods of time. And modern life constantly encourages the opposite behavior. Consume now. Upgrade now. Experience now. But saving money requires resisting that pressure repeatedly. That's psychologically difficult in environments specifically designed to trigger spending impulses constantly. There's another critical issue people underestimate. Inflation changed how people experience money emotionally. When groceries rise, gas rises, insurance rises, people feel poorer even if their income technically increased. And because many essential costs increased simultaneously, saving often becomes the first thing people sacrifice temporarily. But temporary pauses often become permanent patterns. Months become years, surprisingly quickly financially. That's one reason so many people suddenly wake up in their 40s, realizing they built very little actual financial security despite decades of working hard. Not because they were lazy, but because modern life continuously absorbed almost every dollar they earned. This is why saving money today often feels less like discipline and more like resistance against modern culture itself. Because nearly everything around people encourages immediate consumption. The people who successfully build savings consistently often do something psychologically different. They intentionally lower lifestyle pressure. They avoid upgrading everything simultaneously. They reduce recurring expenses aggressively. They protect financial margin carefully. And most importantly, they stop treating spending as emotional therapy. Because emotional spending quietly destroys future peace. And financial peace ultimately comes from one thing above all else: margin. The gap between what you earn and what you require to survive comfortably. That gap determines stress levels, retirement potential, flexibility, freedom, and long-term security. But modern life quietly pushes people toward eliminating that gap completely. That's why so many people earning decent incomes still feel financially trapped every month. The system consumed their margin. And once margin disappears, saving money no longer feels easy. It feels almost impossible. But here's the important part. Impossible does not mean hopeless. Because even in expensive environments, small consistent financial behavior still compounds massively over time. The people who eventually build financial security are rarely perfect financially. They simply become intentional. Intentional about lifestyle inflation, recurring expenses, emotional spending, debt, and protecting margin. Because the real goal of money is not simply buying more things. It's creating enough space in life that money stops controlling every decision constantly. And that freedom usually begins the moment someone stops asking, "What can I buy?" and starts asking, "What is quietly preventing me from building peace later?"